All right. It is Friday the 13th, February 13th, on my way to work. Here we go, doing it again, showing up every day. I want to talk about meaning. I mean, I think I talk about it a lot because I struggled to find meaning for so long. And I think there's a lot of people out there finding meaning. You're trying to find meaning in your own life, hopefully, and maybe you found it. And I think I just want to encourage that journey because it's just so important to get better every day, to strive for your best self. And, when I think back, to when I was a child, you would do things like playing video games was very addicting to me. And I think back, kind of like knowing the psychology of my brain and knowing like about dopamine and, those cycles and everything, you kind of understand that addiction a lot more, because when you're playing a video game, you're making actions and reactions and they have immediate consequences. And then you see those consequences and they kind of light up your brain because you're trying to get better. You're trying to get better at this game, and you kind of quickly learn and you get addicted because you want to get better. It's like an ego. There's an ego part of every single person. Everyone has an ego, and you're just trying to get better. And you get in those loops, and you get that instant feedback, and you adjust, and then you cycle through that play again, and you get better. And man, that lights up your brain a lot, and it feels good. It feels good to get that immediate feedback. But however, how this relates to meaning, and like when I look at my own life, it's life is not like that, because when you put in actions, there's very, very few things that you get that immediate feedback. The feedback is usually takes a long time after consistent action. I mean, just think about working out and eating healthy. Yeah, I mean, it feels good for a day or two, and you work out, and maybe your muscles feel sore after you work out, and it feels good and all that. But so you get some immediate feedback, but really it's not like that dramatic. You have to be really aware, and that's why I think awareness is so important. But you have to be really aware to be able to see that feedback. I think too often when people start a diet, they might even gain a little weight, because if they start a diet and start working out, you might gain a little muscle. Your metabolism might go up, or maybe you lose a lot of weight real quick, and you see that immediate feedback right away after a month or two, and then it kind of plateaus. And then of course, because that feedback is not there, you lose interest. And we all kind of have that. I mean, I have that this self saboteur in my mind that always is trying to play tricks and games and trying to seek comfort, and it's difficult to beat that, because when you plateau, whether it's working out, whether it's reading, writing, creating, doing whatever, because it's inevitable. You're gonna plateau. You're gonna go. Maybe the results even go down. And so you're gonna have to kind of beat that. You have to beat that feedback and just remain consistent, remain passionate about what you're doing, about establishing the routines that you're doing, because otherwise, in the long term, you're not going to see the results, because life doesn't work like a video game, unfortunately. A lot of people say life is a video game and you got to treat it like a video game. And, I think you could definitely find a lot of truth in that. But I think the flaw in that philosophy is that video games give you immediate feedback. Exactly where you stand and how exactly good you are, because in life, you could be really good at life, but that feedback just hasn't got there yet. That reality that you're looking for hasn't mirrored back at you yet. So it's like you got to keep pushing forward, keep working to see that. And a lot of people, because they're used to that, I don't know, 21st century just feedback loop, that short-term gratification, that immediate feedback loop. They don't have the consistency or the patience to really kind of stick with it. Whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's a business creating. I mean, I think everyone should create whatever it is. Maybe it's in your business that you are creating, but we all are trying to create. We're all trying to do things. We're all trying to find a way. We're all trying to find meaning. And I just want to encourage you to stick with it. If it aligns with your heart, if it aligns with who you are, try to stick with it as long as you can. Really be disciplined in your mind. Don't let other people, or don't let lower consciousness, whether it be alcohol, drugs, people, relationships, just that toxicity, those distractions, and just social media, whatever, pull you down. because we all need to elevate our consciousness, especially this time in our society. There's a lot of just lower conscious, a lot of demonic, evil people, kind of really, I don't know, just guiding society, and they shouldn't be. And I think it's just going to take a collective of higher consciousness and this, I don't know, transcendence and whatever you want to call it. And that's what I'm trying to do in my own life. That's what I'm trying to spread, because I just feel like, who knows, whether it's me or someone else, if enough of us do this, if enough of us really raise our consciousness level and find meaning every day and get better every day, and just reach for our highest self every day, and find that consistency. You never know what that frequency, how that resonates, how that spider webs out. And, we might pull someone on the darkness, on the good side, on the light side, and that might shed more light on the darkness. Because I think that's what it's going to take. I think it is a battle of light and dark, and we need people in the dark to come to the light. Like that, I think that's what it comes down to. You know what I mean? Like that's how society wins. That's how life wins. That's how this battle against love and evil, is going on. Like, evil is trying to get people from the light to go to the dark. And I'm sure you've faced that in your life. I'm sure you've had decisions in your life that you can look back to. Maybe sometimes you chose dark. But I know there's decisions where you chose light too, and where you chose love instead. And when you chose something like, what, I'm glad I didn't go down that path. I'm glad I got out of that situation, or got out of that group of friends, or got out of that environment, got out of that toxic workplace. Whatever it is, you chose light in your heart, and we just need more people choosing light. We need more people to come from the dark, choose light. And I think if the collective can do this, it can really steer society and humanity into a better place, because I think a lot of people are struggling. There's a lot of distractions out there. There's a lot of just battles for your attention, and your attention is going towards just crap, unfortunately. We're all just seeking comfort. Life should be a little struggle, but at the same time, you should still have joy in your life. There should be a joy in the struggle, right? It's like farming kind of thing. Like it sucks tending to the land, right? It sucks maybe. I don't even know really all the farming lingo, but because that's unfortunate, right? It shows just how out of touch a lot of us really are. But like, and also my mind is kind of blanking. But yeah, I mean, you got to fertilize that. You got to fertilize the soil. You got to plant. You got to seed. You got to water. You got to do all the things, and that all that hard work. But at some point, you're gonna reap that harvest. And I think that's all I'm trying to encourage myself and others. Let's keep watering our plants, watering our seeds, with light. And I know eventually we're gonna reap a just fantastic harvest, and hopefully we can be a part of something. Because I know a lot of us really don't have a lot of faith in just where our species is headed. We're not seeing a lot of progress. Like, there's technology progress, but there's not a lot of progress on the human side. I think there's a lot of very, very smart people that think they're superior to other people. And that their ego is just unfortunately having a little bit too much influence on our species. And this needs to be evened out. Or there will be a revolution, right? And I don't think that's good for anyone. That's not good for anyone. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I can't believe I talked for 9 minutes. But anyway, as always, peace, love, and blessings. I will see you next time.